Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends and fans come together to BS, argue, occasionally agree, and discuss a musical artist. Today's artist is Creedence Clearwater Revival. We'll be talking about the 7 studio albums because that's pretty much all they had anyway. Uh, with me today.
Well, all right, like we should probably elaborate. Technically, they only have 6 studio albums. I don't know if we can consider one of them be a studio album by the band. What you think, Hillary?
You thinking the last one?
Oh, that is all. That's the full band right there.
You're talking about Saint Anger?
Oh no,
because they lost a member and had to go in the studio and try to figure something out. And
yeah, but Metallica didn't lose their primary songwriter.
Well, neither did they. Neither did Creedence.
Wasn't the primary songwriter for the band?
No, he was the rhythm guitar player.
Yeah, John's the main songwriter.
Yeah, John's
really. Oh, yeah, that's right. His brother was in the band. Shit, dude.
Right,
and
he's the one that left.
His brother's the one that left.
Let's start over.
Okay. With me today, he's no fortunate son, Tim.
What's happening?
He's a pagan baby, Will.
Yeah, I like that one. That one's good.
And our returning special guest, if you saw Leonard Skinner, he's been tearing up the country while he was gone, Hillary.
Tearing up the country.
He's got a sinister purpose. That's Jason.
That's a good one.
Oh, that was a good one. All right. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell thing, share with your friends, tell everybody about us. Just tell them, hey, you ever go to the bar and there's just a bunch of guys sitting around fighting and arguing about music? Well, if you like that sort of thing, check us out. We have a Facebook, Patreon, blah blah blah. Links below. Facebook shout out to Jennifer Polk.
Yeah.
And roundtable with our relationship with this artist, which we're all pretty much probably in the same boat here. Hillary, why don't you start us off? What's your relationship with CCR?
Well, going through this, I realized that I really think I just like the popular songs.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Hey.
But yeah, just growing up, having them on the radio, that's my relationship. I haven't listened to a lot of this before this event.
All right. What about you, Will?
I was just gonna say ditto.
What about you, Tim?
Well, it all goes back to Nam. When we were in the jungles, flying over.
Running through the jungle. We
were looking for crazy captains and wacky adventures, and this was the soundtrack of our lives. No, it's always been there. If I had to think about it, probably the first one I ever heard was Heard It Through the Grapevine, because the California Raisins were a popular thing, and so that song was just everywhere.
Was that a Creedence original?
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. No, but with it being like a hit again in a commercial, like people were playing various versions of it, including the CCR one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've always been there. I've never been a huge fan, so going through this was interesting. You can't escape them.
Yeah, I couldn't say I would have ever listened to 7 Creedence albums if I wasn't doing this show. But here we are, about to see.
Yeah. I mean, I will say my first memorable experience of knowing who the band was through the Forrest Gump movie, because I watched it with my mom and she grew up with all this music, and I was like, "What's that one song?" And she's like, "Oh, that's Creedence Clearwater Revival." I was like, "That's a really silly name," and that was my extent of my opinion of it, and I liked it. I do like it. Just
so, do you guys know how they got the name?
No, Hillary.
I do not know.
I actually looked it up just now.
Well, good job.
So Creedence is named after somebody they knew. Creedence something blah blah blah. Clearwater was from a beer commercial.
Okay.
And Revival they thought just sounded cool, like 60s Revival. So
Yeah.
that's how they came up with the name.
Interesting.
I don't hate the name. I just thought it was silly when I was like, 10, because I, there were other bands with cooler names than that. But I do think it's a very classic name for a classic band for sure.
After listening to all this is really all you need.
Yeah.
Is that the
And-
greatest hits?
Yeah.
There's a reason
Nice.
why that particular 20-track greatest hits record is the one you see when people think of this band. Like,
Yeah.
it's a killer greatest hits record for sure.
And even this might be a little too much CCR. Because they got some questionable ones on here too. But Tim, I'm glad you brought up Vietnam. Because
I mean, it was a trying time, but
it was.
we got to talk about it.
And in 1999, Stephen King wrote Hearts in Atlantis, which has some Dark Tower tie-ins and lots of Vietnam references. It's about the 60s. Great book. Actually, I wanted to show you guys this. This is creepy as hell. I bought this at a used bookstore. And on the inside, I don't know if you could see that, but like somebody wrote some stuff here.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it
June
says,
2005 or something.
yeah, it says June 28th, 2000, 1014 West 13th Street, our home. And then below that it says September 25th, 2000, 4401 North Pine, a bad house. I miss my home. That's fucking creepy. So, yeah, my relationship, same. They've always been around. Parents liked them. Forrest Gump. La-di-da-di-da. La-di-da-di.
We like to party. We don't party. No, okay.
All right.
Go along, man. Around robin.
Hillary, you're our special guest, so you can start us off. What is your least favorite CCR album?
It's that newest one, man, Mardi Gras. It's-
That newest one they
it's
and
dropped
by
in
new you mean
1972.
51 years ago.
the newest one.
Yeah.
It's got some good songs, but it's just not my favorite. I mean, there's just something missing, and I guess it's the guitars. I don't know.
Well, and this is also the one where they all contributed songs. That's the first time that had happened, where
Oh.
John Fogerty was like, "Okay, yeah, you guys, yeah, let's hear the songs the drummer wrote. That'll be good."
Well, I don't think it
That'll
was
keep
because
the
I
band
saw an
going.
interview with John where he was like kind of bitching about. He's like, yeah, all the other members, they were saying I was running things and because he would like sneak in the studio and re-record parts without him and stuff, and so they got upset. And he's like, okay, well then we'll collaboratively write this album, and so he let them do their stuff, and it bombed, and for good reason because it sucks.
And do we think the two Stu Cook songs here, "Take It Like a Friend" and "Sail Away," are both about John Fogerty?
Maybe.
He's talking about like having to, yeah, I've been sitting here for years, taking it from the man, and I just want to sail far away from this. And I don't know. I was listening to it and just like, I bet he's singing about John Fogerty.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe. My notes for that song says "Take It Like a Friend" sucks.
Yeah, even the John Fogerty songs on this one are pretty bad.
Ah,
So, all right. So,
I'll get into it.
But John was the original vocalist, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, because I always identify this band with his voice, and that was the jarring thing about this record was that it no, it didn't work.
Well, the people who wrote the song usually sang it, so he is singing a few of them. He's got what, 2 on each side?
He's got 2 on that record. Yeah, I know that much.
He's got 4 on the record.
4 on the record?
Yep. According to or 3. He's got 3 according to the Wikipedia here.
It's Someday Never Comes, Sweet Hitchhiker,
and the first one, Looking for a Reason.
Oh yeah, that was awful though. God.
But that
I don't know, honestly. I didn't like Looking for a Reason until track 2 started, and then I was like, that was a good song.
For real. It's got that Telly twang to it.
Yeah, man.
I guess I guess I'm gonna follow up with you. I'm just gonna go ahead because I'm gonna keep talking about this.
I
fucking
think.
album.
Yeah,
Wait, Tim, are
pretty
you any
universal,
different
I
from
think.
the rest of us on this? Because that's my last favorite too.
So we're just gonna
Same.
dump this turd
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
down here.
It is. It's Saint Anger. They lost a member of the band and they didn't know what to do. So they let people they let everybody contribute to the writing. And in this case, it ended up breaking the band.
See, this record was so bad that I had to go do a little Wikipedia on it. And apparently Tom wanted to write more songs for the band. So John was like, yeah, you guys go ahead. Let's see how this turns out. And it turned out as shit. So, and I think that might be why that one song is written from the perspective it was, because I think most of the band probably weren't expecting they needed to contribute a song. And they had to write it on the spot immediately and just were like, we're going to write about how John's fucking us right now. You know what I mean?
And there's a cover on the album as well, the Hello Mary Lou.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Reason why it's number 7 for me is because I couldn't finish listening to it. It was that bad. I just hated it.
Well, then you missed the best song. The best song I thought was Door to Door.
Okay.
Which is next to last. And it was the only one where I was like, if this was on any other album, I would not mind it at all.
Okay.
I liked Door to Door.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Hitchhiker was really good. Like that song went pretty hard for CCR.
Sure.
My note says, "What the fuck is this? Why is CCR country all of a sudden? Worst opening on any CCR album. Take It Like a Friend sucks. Tearing Up the Country is horrible. So far, worst album. John tried to save this album with Somebody Never Comes. It's good, but not enough to save this album. Sail Away would win bottom 5 CCR songs. Just awful. Mary Lou is But
the top 6 songs, so
that album just.
So for Door to Door, I've got Not Too Bad, good short song.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, and that's what you're getting here. Well, not too bad is the highlight.
I mean, they broke up like officially like 2 months after this record was released, so let's say all there is to say.
All right, are we done talking about this turd?
Almost. Sorry, I have the feeling I'm next, and I have to find the track listing for the record that.
No, I was gonna go next, so it went down in a.
Good, thank you.
I'll go next. I'm gonna go with the first album. So
I feel you on that. I do.
I Put a Spell on You. After Marilyn Manson covered it, all other covers of this song are just trash.
Well, after the original, which is yet to be beaten.
Well, yeah, but we're talking covers. We're going to talk about covers a lot with this band.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I did like The Working Man and Susie Q, my friend Michael from back in elementary school. We used to listen to that song all the fucking time. So nostalgia kicked in for that one. 99 was meh. Light Get Down Woman, bluesy and just the right length. Porterville is a hidden gem. I love the delivery and lyrics of that one. Great topic of people thinking you're going to turn out like your father, who has a reputation around town, which I know some people in Bay Minette that live that. Didn't like Gloomy. Walk on Water starts out kind of bad, but picked up after a little while. Out of the 8 tracks, I only really liked 3, and 1 was a cover, so that is why it is number 6.
Okay.
Does that put you next, Tim?
No, that's not. Oh, yeah. I mean, I could go next.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So my next one is going
to be order.
Say again.
I'm still very confused about the ordering of how we do this. So
I don't think there is an order. I think it's just alternate.
So the order is I'll start with a special guest if we have one, and then it'll go Hillary, and then it'll start at the top. I'll go next first, and then Tim will go next first. You'll go next first.
All right.
And Hillary, me, Tim. Without a special guest, it's just fucking random.
Okay. All right.
Gotcha. So my number 6 is going to be the one without a cover. I'm going Pendulum. It had some good songs. It started off pretty good. But then the B side it just evolves into nothingness with a weird instrumental that
Yeah.
straight like it shouldn't have
It's
ended with that at all. Yeah, there's like yeah, Pagan Baby was cool, Chameleon was kind of cool. Have you ever seen The Rain is just kind of a remake of Who'll Stop the Rain? They're kind of the same song.
Well,
We're talking
a lot of these
CCR, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're all the same song, but literally, it's like, you know, how many Rain songs can you get there and not have the Rain song? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going Pendulum. It's a little better than Mardi Gras because it's a little more focused. But at this point, this is what their 5th album in an 18-month period. They're kind of throwing a couple things on there that are you know, just kind of taking up time.
The label wanted 12 tracks kind of experiment.
Sure, exactly. You got to fill that LP.
Yeah.
And
time.
yeah, and this isn't the first time they were like I felt some filler. So this is yeah, number 6.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with you and put that as my number 6 as well. Mainly just, I mean, like, have you ever seen The Rain? I like that song. It's a good song. I think it might be better than the original that this is a sequel to.
Both of which are John Fogerty songs.
Like that's the thing that like I really.
He better be careful doing that. He might sue himself.
Well, he'll probably lose. Not that we're going to bring that up, but
my song started playing Hideaway, so I had to stop and get distracted for a second there. Which is a good song. That's the thing that blows my mind, like about a lot of artists from this era is like they had to put out a record a year or they would get fired. Yeah. I mean, like what Cosmos Factory and Pendulum both came out in 1970 in the same year. So
right, and that's following 69 where they put out three
records. Yeah, it's just nuts. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
You can't expect. Nobody was expecting quality. They just were like, "Oh, you've got a hit. We're gonna sell all your records to all these kids," and that's probably true.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I really would have loved to have heard what could have come of them if they were allowed to give like at least a year in between releases. Because they might have actually written some really crazy, awesome stuff. Because everybody in this band is technically proficient and good at what they do. It's just from a songwriting perspective, it's a lot of the same fucking song over and over again. And this one's good. I like the production on this a lot. The production of it is really well. Everything sounds good. But again, there's I actually have to rank these records by how many singles were good from this record, and this one just has one really, and it was a sequel to a previous single that was already a hit, so it was kind of like you know. But yeah, what about you, Hillary? What you got?
I'm following with both of you guys. Pendulum.
Man, y'all fucked up.
I do like.
Look, we're
Someone
not.
put a spell on you.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Jason, because my next one will be much along the lines of your same thought. But yeah,
my next one's that one. So
I do like.
Still in agreement.
I do like the song "Have You Ever Seen the Rain?"
Me too.
And that is my note for this album. "Have You Ever Seen the Rain?" is good, but other than that, a lot of notes of this is okay, not my thing, sort of.
Yeah, for sure.
Every other song. Melina's kind of fun.
Yeah, I liked Melina. That's a good jam. Like a lot of the ratings of this album are due to the guitar solos on the records. Like if there's a good guitar solo in it, I'm like, all right, it's pretty good.
I mean, I definitely liked a couple because of some drum fills. So
yeah.
You gotta grasp at what you can here.
Stalls.
all right, Tim, what's your next one?
Okay, so
wait.
next one.
Yeah, it's you. Sorry.
You.
That sounds right.
My next one is gonna be Willie and the Poor Boys.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
Hey, where's that
Okay.
button?
Well, so I thought the high
I'm
points.
still working on
this
that,
album-
Hillary. We need a technical person for that slap button.
Okay.
Oh wait, I can edit it in now. I'll edit in like a slap.
What?
The high points are really high. Like, yeah, definitely should be like at the front end of any greatest hits stuff. But the low points are really low. Like my notes are kind of all over here. We got 2 instrumentals, so right off the bat, like we're trying to fill up some space. The first one, the Poor Boy Shuffle, like they could have left that off. That is just unnecessary.
You're right. You're right.
Cotton Fields is just country, which is surprising to hear that Jason say they introduced it on Mardi Gras. I actually feel it's been there the whole time.
The Ledbetter cover.
They're
this
very
is
well
better.
versed in American blues. They're very well versed in the Sun Studios. They're very well versed in Stax. There's even there was one song on Mardi Gras, or maybe it was, now I can't remember, Pendulum. It could have been a Jimmy Buffett song.
That was definitely on Mardi Gras. I know what song.
Okay, yeah, you know which one I'm talking about. Yeah. So yeah, the country's always been there. And
I got
then
blues.
and then like Don't Look Now is just straight Roy Orbison. Let's see here. Feeling Blue was a little funky. That one I liked. Fortunate Son is just a banger. That's an all-time classic. Can't go wrong with that. Midnight Special was kind of gospel-y and not as good as it should have been. So yeah, hot take or not, I think they did better than it.
All right.
Nice.
All right,
Will,
so-
you gonna follow? You gonna follow in Tim's footsteps on that one?
No, I'm not. That was the Tim's hot take of the episode, I think, for sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow you actually, Jason, and put the self-titled as my number 5. It's got like 3 good songs, one of which is a cover that has been covered by everyone on the fucking planet. Jesus.
Yeah, the only song they're missing in this catalog is Mustang Sally.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I really want John Fogerty and Bob Seger to put out a record now. Actually, that would be great.
Seagerty.
Segerty,
Segerty.
John Segerty. Brought to you by Motor City and California. Even though there's a lot of songs about Louisiana, I don't understand that shit, John. I don't get it. You were not born on the bayou of anything. You were born in goddamn California, which might have bayous, but I'm pretty sure they're not near San Francisco. But anyway, whatever. That's just me being a stickler for bullshit, which I'm proud of. Susie Q, man, they wrote that song 8 times, and that's the best version of it. It's really good. That bass, it's a good damn jam. And I liked Porterville a lot, and for some reason 99.5 Won't Do was good to me. I don't quite, I was taken back by it myself.
It's a Wilson Pickett song.
It is it okay. God dang, I see that.
Every single one of these albums.
Another cover song I didn't know was a cover. Like, I don't blame the
As
band.
with Susie Q. Susie Q's a cover. That's a standard.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this should technically be number 6, but we're putting it at number 5. And what you got, Hillary?
I got to say. Such I feel like it belongs at number 5. I don't know why. I didn't realize there was that many covers on this. Let's see. I put a spell on you. That was the cover you were initially talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, cover doesn't sound right, but it's okay. Just okay. Working Man, little bluesy, but nope, this one sucks. I like Susie Q, but I was ready for the next song. And on and on.
Yeah.
Porterville was a nice 60s tune. Sounds very, quote, CCR. Not sure what it's about. Sounds like they don't care.
Yeah, a lot of the lyrics on a lot of these records, I'm kind of like, okay, John, all right. I don't know what you're saying, but okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm at there. Number 5 for
All right.
CCR.
All right. Now I'm gonna put Ben on.
Giving us shit, like telling us wrong.
Hey, it deserves its 5th place. 6th place? Let's see.
It's a profound difference. There's a profound difference between 5 and 6. There really
Yeah,
is.
clearly out of
Yeah.
7.
One whole unit.
That's
Is
right.
the difference, you know.
I mean, not if you read my notes here. Pagan Baby is okay, good drum beats, but a step down from past albums. I went into this discography thinking I'm gonna do my best to not hear every CCR song is the same, but that thought process broke when I heard Sailor's Lament because it sounds like every other fucking CCR song. Chameleon was good, had some horns in that intro, decent melody from John. Have You Ever Seen the Rain is a classic, stands the test of time. Hideaway, Take It or Leave It. Born to Move is pretty lame. I did like Hey Tonight. Same with It's Just a Thought. What about that drum roll, Tim?
In which one? Just a Thought?
Yeah. It's like do 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 do.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of gave up on that album. Like that was a tough one.
I liked Molina. That was fun. It did not need an instrumental for a closer.
Especially a psychedelic one.
Yeah, it
Like number 9, number 9, number
Yeah.
9.
it's pretty at least the first 2 minutes, and then it just gets fucking weird. So yeah, this album still not we're not in the good stuff yet. Besides like 1 or 2 songs.
Yeah. Well, saying something about all the records, in my opinion. There's like 3 or 4 good songs on a lot of them, but anyway.
Yeah, if only they just bundled them all up together.
Yeah, I
Then
mean,
you're
really,
good.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure none of them are really unhappy laughing from, their really nice houses and stuff. So,
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
They got screwed. Like there was a lot of suing going back and forth with the record label and
Oh, well, yeah,
the
you're right.
band suing each other and
Went on for a long time.
Yep.
yeah.
And then there's the whole centerfold fiasco, which we won't talk about, but
The centerfold fiasco?
center field. I'm sorry. The
I thought we were talking about
in the
Giles
80s.
Band
I
for a
did
second.
too. Do, 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 do.
Angels in a centerfold.
Oh, maybe I did. I don't know. Just 80s hit. Center field. John Fogerty got sued by the record company for sounding too much like a John Fogerty song,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and he lost. So
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
yeah, it's pretty.
And
Amazing.
not in the Aerosmith way, like in, the legitimate way.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's a fun little John Fogerty song. Yeah, you'll notice there isn't much output from him after this, and including because of all the lawsuits and stuff. And then when you
Well,
lose for sounding too much like yourself, like where do you go from there?
And his brother passed away in like the 90s, and they never made up.
Right.
Jeez.
Well, I know that live, so I understand that. It happens. It happens.
Yep. All right, Will. What is your number 4?
Now, I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I'm going to put Bayou Country up here at number 4. Man, I love Little Richard too, but nobody needs to cover Little Richard. They just don't. It's unnecessary. You're never going to be as good as Little Richard. You're never going to have as much sass as Little Richard, and you're never going to be as soulful as Little Richard. Like,
What about Traveling Band?
Wait, that's
It's not on this album, but it's
Oh,
a hit, and it's a Little Richard song too, although it's not.
Oh, okay, because I would have never put those two together, honestly.
Oh yeah, go back and listen to it. They're totally just ripping off Little Richard on that.
Well,
After they've already covered Good Golly Miss Molly.
they're doing their best with a 12-bar blues. I mean,
Yeah, they are for sure. For sure.
They honestly, Born on the Bayou, as much as it pisses me off, almost as much as like what John Cougar Mellencamp saying "sucking on a chili dog" outside of Tasty Freeze. Like it's got that same vibe of just ridiculousness, considering these guys are all from fucking California, where there is it still will always bother me that they thought that was a good idea, and it was, because they made a lot of money on it. So I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm putting this at number 4 as opposed to any other placement, just simply because there's a song called "Keep on Chuglin," and I don't know what that means. And
I looked it up.
it matters if I did know what that meant, because it is so awesome that it deserves to be number 1 on the list just for that song.
Hashtag keep on chuggling.
Keep
Yeah,
on
right.
chuggling. Like 4 lines of lyrics, it's just nonsense, and I love it very much. Just from an absurdist kind of standpoint.
Did you say you looked it up, Hillary?
I did.
Okay, what is it?
Looked it up. John Fogerty made up the word chugling. Awesome. Keep on chugling.
That's the new ODD
And
motto right there.
They used that same word chugling in an earlier song. I think it's Born on the Bayou.
Well, and T-Rex had
really
the song afterwards, I guess. I'm thinking it's 73-ish. They had the Chariot Chugle.
Well, I give T-Rex so many more marks.
Oh yeah.
Proud Mary, you could have just let Janis Joplin sing that instead, and it would have been better. I don't think she did, but she should have. Penthouse Popper is pretty dope. I guess I don't really remember at this point, honestly. Graveyard Chain was kind of fun, like in a just like straight up fucking bar rock band kind of vibe. And Bootleg drove me insane. I know I'm supposed to be talking positively about this, but Bootleg made me crazy because I had no idea he was saying bootleg at all. I thought he was saying Booty Bay.
That would have made it so much better if he was saying
It would
Booty
have,
Bay.
especially as like a playing World of Warcraft player, like Booty Bay is what's up, yo.
Booty Bay, you chugging tonight?
You chugging tonight? We chugging tonight, y'all.
I thought he was saying Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, man? It's so up to interpretation at that point. But yeah, it's better than the other 3. So that's at number 4.
All right. Hillary, what you got?
Oh, number 4? Green River.
All right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Green River. Bad Moon Horizon's all right.
All right.
It's good.
That's all right. Howlin' Wolf would have done it better.
My son and I like Commotion, and that brought it up to number 4.
Yeah.
Green River, the song, is classic CCR. Awesome radio music. Just like reminds me of cruising in the car, growing up. This Tombstone Shadow right after Commotion. My notes are Luke does not like this song. Son, he's leaving me to my CCR. Of course, Bad Moon Rising is a classic. And yeah, a lot of my notes are kind of like, this is kind of a fun foot tapping music, but, kind of in the middle there, number 4.
So what you're saying is those songs that you listed, Bad Moon Rising, Green River, Commotion, if only they were on a compilation with the other 2 or 3 songs off each album.
All you really need is the greatest hits with this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. In some cases, yeah.
When we went into the Police, I was thinking the same thing for the Police, but like I was shocked and surprised like how good the Police were outside of their singles.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into this one hopeful that it would be the same, but it was not the same.
Mm.
Yeah, I kind of went in the same way, and luckily, I was pleasantly surprised by a couple songs I was unfamiliar with. So we'll get to that in a later episode, I'm sure.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on Bayou Country. Born on the Bayou is classic CCR, and I know I shat all over the Ataris for some of their driving down Pacific Coast Highway lines when the guy was from Indiana. But John, he can get away with it, I guess. Album was decent. Bootleg is great. Super fun song until the questionable last verse. I don't know what that means. Does anybody remember the last verse? Was it?
Hey, no,
It had something questionable that was like, yeah, you wouldn't say that in 2023.
Oh, dang.
Um,
Now I'm gonna Google because that's I don't remember any of it.
Are you
I mean,
gonna Google or are you gonna choogle?
I'm assuming that's what questionable
I'm
last
gonna
verse
struggle.
means. There was something I was like, eh. Graveyard Train, good lyrics, but way too slow. Good Golly is fine. Penthouse Popper is raunchy and great. Proud Mary, Hot Take is overrated and doesn't feel like a CCR song to me, but I guess Will kind of said that. Janice probably would have done a better job with this one.
Tina
Closing
Turner,
track,
maybe?
Tina
yeah,
Turner. Yes. Thank
any,
you.
yeah, Wendy O, anybody.
Right.
Closing track is okay, not that outstanding or anything. Overall, it was better than the self-titled.
So Jason, is it the chasing down a hoodoo there? The lyric you're talking about?
No,
Okay. Because I just Googled lyrics and I couldn't find anything
hmm.
that would be that bad. I mean,
I was pretty intoxicated when I went through my notes here when I did my
that's
list.
fair.
Smart.
That's fair. That's very on brand for
Yeah.
drunken discography. So
Yeah,
that
you know, we
works.
keep it real here.
I was really intoxicated for my number one, and that might be why it ended up on number one.
Sometimes.
Now I'm curious.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Let's get there.
Yeah, I'm rolling right through with Bayou Country.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay. Wow.
Everything you guys said, like all these albums, the high points are pretty high, but the low points are low. And yeah, there was no reason for that Good Golly Miss Molly cover. Proud Mary's kind of rough. Did love Keep on Chuglin. I loved Graveyard Train. It reminded me of like an old Howlin' Wolf song.
Yeah.
Born on the Bayou, I can forgive the subject matter of the lyrics only because that riff sounds so swampy. It like makes sense in my head. Like, oh, clearly we're gonna sing about a swamp because listen to this riff.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Will said everything about bootleg that needed to be said. It goes nowhere. It's just basic Chicago blues rock. Um, and throughout this whole thing, like I'll get there when I get there, but this whole thing, like you could tell they were working the scenes and the sock hops and knew what to do to get the people to move. Um, and unfortunately, with their original stuff, they just rely too heavily on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. With that, we come back to Hillary for your number 3.
Bayou Country.
Thank God, because when you said you was drunk with your number 1, we all like talking Bayou Country.
Mardi Gras.
On Bayou Country.
Pulling a mulligan.
Uh,
Ooh.
so, yeah, I liked Born on the Bayou. I think it's an awesome classic song, and
I do
it's
too.
fun to kind of sing along to. Bootleg, Kool-Aid, bootleg, what is he saying?
Booty Babe.
Well, well, man.
It has a questionable
Little
verse.
Richard song. Oh, it does. Is it bootleg or Kool-Aid?
Maybe I
Kool-Aid
heard it wrong in
album?
my head. I heard
I
something
don't know,
bad.
but hearing him sing that song made me think a lot of what is it called? The Water Boy. Yeah. A lot of that Cajun, like it's so weird that he's from California because he kind of singing like a Cajun on that song. It's wild.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
you can tell he's just, that's what he hears on his turntable. And so
Yeah.
he's just trying to sound like the blues guys or like the Delta blues or whatever he's listening to and writing a song about, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. For Penthouse Pauper, you got and it's actually a pretty good bluesy tune. It goes together well from what I've been listening to. Proud Mary's classic radio CCR that's great on a road trip. It reminds me of road trip music, like growing up being in the car, going on a road trip, and it comes on the radio, and that's what you hear, and just kind of stare out the window and watch things go by. And then Chugling, fun tune, I like it. But what the hell is Chugling? So look,
If you
Well,
have to
we're doing
ask,
it
you'll
now.
never know.
What we're doing right now, we're chuggling. We're chuggling.
All right, my number 3 is Green River. So,
We're all
great
kind of.
opening. What?
I'm just nothing. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm just shut up.
Great opening track. Commotion is upbeat and has a few good breakdown parts. Tombstone is fine. Wrote a Song for Everyone is fantastic. Great lyrics. Um, from Wrote a Song all the way to Bad Moon Rising, all the way to Lodi. Well, I guess it's all three. All three of those could have been top songs for me. Love all three of them. Really liked Cross Tie Walker as well. Same with Sinister. The closing track is the only cover, and it's the worst song on the album. Other than that, like it's a pretty good record. Like for CCR, I mean, you know, besides the greatest hits, like this is kind of close.
Yeah, agreed.
I gotta edit all that. Come back, cut to a commercial.
Tim, can you go real quick? Can you go in the time?
Yeah. I'm probably going to upset some people, though, by going with Cosmos Factory.
Jesus, man.
I really liked the first song, Ramble Tamble. But then literally you get a Bo Diddley cover, then you get Traveling Band, which I know was a hit, but it literally, go back and listen to it. They're just trying to do a Little Richard song. And that's followed up by yet another cover, an old Ooby Dooby. It's just an old rockabilly song. Looking out my back door, it's like, it's there, it's catchy. My favorite part is literally when the drums change time signatures at the end. But other than that, it's just there. Run Through the Jungle is a classic. In my notes, I ask, is this their Riders on the Storm? But I think this actually came out before LA Woman. Up Around the Bend, my notes for that say the intro is Ed Connick. The rest of the song is passable. And then after that, it just falls for me. There's nothing here.
Wow.
But the production is great. And like most of these, the high points are high, but the low points are really low on this one, I thought.
But after that is School Stop the Rain. It's the other Rain song.
And that's perfectly fine for a 1970s. We're in California with an acoustic guitar, Laurel Canyon type vibe. But that's it.
Well, I can do mine real quick. My next one, it's Green River. Green River, good song. Probably one of my favorite Creedence songs. Commotion's good. Wrote a Song for Everyone. I like that song. I thought that was a really good jam. I don't know what the fuck a Lodi is or why he's stuck in one again. But
it's a city in California.
Is it? Okay, because I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a city in California.
I thought that song was so good, but I was like, I don't know what a Lodi is, and I feel like I'm missing out on some 60s slang I didn't know about.
Last one out of Lodi City, burn it to the ground.
Okay. Oh. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to take a commercial break, huh?
Yeah. Do we have any sponsors from the 80s or 90s? Y'all gotta give me some
I
ideas.
think all our sponsors are from the 60s and 70s this week.
I'm going to say, considering the source, Evan Williams is an excellent sponsor. I wish they would sponsor us. I would love that.
Send us as many free bottles of Evan Williams as you can. Thank you very much.
Our mash is the mash. The monster mash.
We'll be back.
Just outside of Memphis, a barbecue joint. Not the best known, just the best. The Germantown Commissary. The walls are cluttered with famous folks who've shared the secret. Where to find the best damn ribs south of the Mason-Dixon. Another secret we're sharing? Evan Williams Bourbon. This is the smooth stuff. Good stuff. Evan Williams. Smooth bourbon. Priced right. Spread the word.
Welcome back. That's it.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed those products that you just saw advertising for, and you should call the number or door right there.
Grease's pork and beans.
Hillary, if you shoot a commercial, I'll put it in there.
Oh yeah, it's just like Beanie Weenies. We just, recover the label and extend the expiration date.
Perfect.
Capitalism.
I got something. I got something right there. I'm gonna be busy if I make it through the list and Jake edits. I got something good there. All right, my number 2 is gonna be Willie and the Po' Boys. So we're like now into, I'm not going to say like greatest albums of all time, not even the greatest albums of 1970 or 69, but as far as this catalog goes, we're into the good stuff now. Down the Corner kicks ass, can't fuck with it. And It Came Out of the Sky is fine. Covering Lead Belly is always a win for me. And they do a decent job with Cotton Fields. Poor Boy Shuffle is a decent instrumental with that harmonica. Feelin' Blue has great great verses, but the chorus is lazy and repetitive. Fortunate Son, song stands the test of time. It's a career highlight for sure. Don't Look Now is fantastic with great lyrics. Midnight Special, especially this version, just reminds me of the Twilight Zone movie and Dan Aykroyd singing it in the beginning. Which was a who was that? Was that Landis? Yeah, that was a Landis movie, wasn't it? We'll talk about him later. Didn't need that second instrumental on this album. It's okay, but it would have been better with some lyrics. Closing track is superb, though. That's what I got for that one. I actually liked Willie and the Po' Boys. Tim still has not picked the self-titled. Hashtag first album bias.
Yeah. Well, I'm going with it here.
Okay.
We're going to talk about it. And the reason it scored so high with me is for a first album, when I listened to it, I could hear that they were all in a room playing this live. There's no overdubs. They're working their asses off here. And you can hear that they've been doing it on stages and in front of people for a number of years at this point. And yeah, the cover of I Put a Spell on You is not very good. Susie Q, though, is pretty good cover. It is a standard, but they kind of made it their own in a way right off the bat. And then, yeah, the B-side, or the side 2, whatever you want to call it, starting with 99 and a half Won't Do and going all the way down to Walking on the Water, I thought was really good, especially Porterville. I thought that could have almost been on Zeppelin 3, which we're still 2 years away from.
Yeah.
Gloomy sounds like a psychedelic, funky Albert King. Walking on the Water, just driving, distorting riff with some cool drum fills. Yeah, I thought in addition to being a first album, as just being like a late 60s rock album, yeah, this one sounded really good. The production's great. You can hear all the American influences, but you can also hear the British influence and the influence that they took from the American stuff. Everybody knows about the British invasion and how that's what introduced Americans to American roots music or whatever. But it sounds like Creedence was actually there and working the circuits and probably seeing a lot of these, artists live. I can see them going to a Little Richard show 5 years before this and being like, yeah, we're doing this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, same thing happened to the Beatles. They saw Little Richard, and their minds were fucking blown too.
Well,
So
exactly.
really fair.
But I mean, you can also hear the Beatles influence in this too.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's like second wave. You know, we're a couple years after this is like we're already deep into the Beatles like psychedelic stuff at this point.
Mhm.
But you can really just hear like roots rock and roll throughout this entire album. And
Well, I would say
yeah,
as
as you said earlier,
Discography, but yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think all those albums apply to that.
Yeah.
well, sure, but I felt that I guess I am giving it first album bias because by the time you're repeating it on your fifth album or sixth album or seventh album, like at that point, no, you got to do something different. But on your first album, you can get away with it.
There was I read something like the label or something was trying to the whole British invasion thing. They were trying to get them to sound like that at some point.
Sure.
I just don't remember when it was.
I'm sure.
Well, and you know, but even then, like a contemporary band here that was also, you know, in Vietnam was the Doors. And, you know, the Doors are very heavily based on the Chicago blues. And I can hear a lot of that here, too. So
I'm looking forward to doing the Doors on this show.
I think the Doors are definitely better than Creedence, but but I do hear a lot of the same influences. And
I mean, you got Ray on keyboards with the Doors. That's the one thing that makes the Doors, really. It ain't
sure.
It ain't more.
I mean, I guess we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, because they have a few albums at the end without Morrison, so we'll see how those are.
Yeah.
Well, I will learn something new when we do that then, because I didn't know that. And
I haven't heard him either. But
all right,
I need to go back and re-listen to that.
Huh?
I need to go back and re-listen to that album. Tim, you did a great job reviewing it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
I am never listening to any of these records ever again. Maybe this one here and there, but that's it.
There it is.
Just throw that Forrest Gump soundtrack on. You'll be fine.
I got that too.
Yeah, it's a good one, actually. Really good. Like if there was a greatest hits of an era, like Forrest Gump soundtrack.
Forrest Gump nails it, yeah. Especially like because it came out in like 94 or 5, and like
94, yeah.
When I was driving, my grandma would take me to the mall, and like there was only 2 albums that she would let me play, 2 CDs that I could play. It was Kenny G all the time, but there were 2 albums I could get away with. Forrest Gump soundtrack was one of them, and even then, like that was still like because it was my grandmother, so she, you know, it was like, oh, this is that rock and roll crap your parents listen to, that hippie music, and the other one was Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
Really?
Yeah, but I had to skip. Like I couldn't play like XYU. I had to like play, you know, the.
See, my dad got as far as 0, and he was like, "This is ungodly," and got mad.
I mean, that's
Rest
about
in
as far
peace,
as I
Gigi.
got.
She was the shit.
Yeah, man. Dang.
She did fall asleep during Forrest Gump. She took me to the theater to see it, and she fell asleep. But to be fair, it's a long fucking movie.
Long movie, yeah. I guess I'm next. I'm gonna go Cosmo's Factory. I don't like Traveling Band. I don't think it's a good cover. I hate it very much.
It's not a cover. It's an original song.
Oh, okay.
It sounds just like a Little Richard song.
See, there you go. It's such a bad song that it could have been a cover, and I wouldn't know.
Is that slap button available yet?
Huh?
Do we need a slap button insert on?
Yeah.
Will's number 2?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I know I'm full of shit, and it's okay. Is Before You Accuse Me a cover? Take a look at yourself.
I think so. I do believe it is.
It sounds like it should be a
Bo
cover.
Diddley. It's Bo Diddley.
Bo Diddley song. Okay, yeah. I love that song. Yeah. And now I'm glad that I love it because Bo Diddley wrote it.
Yeah, it's Bo Diddley.
Ooby Dooby's fun. Looking Out My Back Door didn't do anything for me until I saw the Children of Bodom cover it. And that blew my mind to see the Children of Bodom covering this song and not like making a metal version of it. They legitimately covered it note for note the same way, same video. They even filmed a video the same way of like John Fogerty sitting on a back porch watching everything. It was good. Run Through the Jungle. It's just that's when I think of Creedence Clearwater, I think of Running Through the Jungle and Fortunate Son. Are like that's CCR to me. Who Will Stop the Rain is a classic. I long as I Can See the Light didn't do anything for me, and I was kind of tired by the time that came on. Up Around the Bend's good. There's a lot of good songs on this one, man. I love it. It's a decent damn record. I really wish that this band could have like spread out their productions over time and maybe made an album using songs from every one of these albums. That would have been chef kiss perfect. But they were obviously rushed by a label who were just looking at money, and that's a shame because they're all very talented musicians, and I feel like if they gave them like a year and a half to write an album, it would have been insanely good, like really good record.
Well, there was 2 years between Pendulum and Mardi Gras.
Yeah,
they
that
also lost a member.
Yeah, that's I don't know if that works the same way though, because I mean, you know.
Yeah.
What you got, Hillary?
Oh, it's my turn.
Just let me know the one to say it. It's awesome. What you got?
Willie and the Po' Boys.
All right.
Wait, let me make sure. Yeah, Willie and the Po' Boys. Down on the corner, out in the street. Great opening. Classic. Same. Love it. Came out the sky, rocking song. Nice classic rock and roll.
Sounds like what the Stones were doing at the same time.
Okay,
yeah.
Cotton Fields, Lead Belly, good cover. I know they didn't write it, but they did a badass job covering it. It was great.
I thought so too.
Poor Boy Shuffle had a pretty fun harmonica intermission there, but you know.
But that is all it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fine.
Leave Willie and the Po' Boys alone. Hashtag. Leave Willie alone.
I don't think anybody needs to worry about them.
I was feeling blue while listening to Feeling Blue, and it matched nicely. I kind of liked that. Fortunate Son, my note is, fuck rich people and their wars. Don't Look Now. Minutemen covered this. And I didn't know that until I looked it up. But I feel like the CCR version was better than the Minutemen version.
That's probably fair. I mean, I love Mike Watt to death and all, but
yeah, it just didn't sound right. Midnight Special. Side of the Road, good jam, I guess. And that last song, it's not my favorite. It sounds like it's epic, you know. I don't really need to listen to it again, but it's not bad. And that's my number 2.
All right, let's. So it looks like Hillary and I have the same number 2, or same number 1.
Sure.
Will's and yours is different, so I guess we'll let Tim go.
Okay. So yeah, my number 1 is going to be Green River. Not because it like blew me away or anything. Much like the rest of these, like you could probably shake this up and come up with it in pretty much any order.
Well,
but I did.
The first 6 maybe.
Yeah. There's certain things that go at the end that belong there that can be changed.
Clearly. Sinister Purpose is good. Bad Mood Rising. It is, it's a fine pop rock song. Wrote a Song for Everyone is really good. And I think in between that and Lodi, you've got every Pearl Jam song ever.
Yeah, but this came out first, so.
This did come out first, and they were in a band called Green River before they were in Pearl Jam. So Maybe that was just psychosomatic.
That's right. You're absolutely right. God,
I never made that connection.
that is a very, very, very prescient thing you did there, Tim. I'm sorry.
I didn't
Well,
even
you
know
know, going into the album, I was thinking like, okay, this probably had something to do with that, and clearly it did. Yeah, Commotion's good. Tombstone Shadow's good. Really, like the last song was just kind of there, but other than that, the rest of the album is damn fine. And I feel like this is really the proper follow up to the first album.
Yeah.
In that 4 album stretch, 5 albums in like 18 months. I think this one's the most consistent and least amount of filler.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going with.
Right.
All right. Will, what's your number one?
Yeah, now I got Willie and the big boy, the beard Earl. Sorry, we had Pearl Jam reference, so I had to.
Do you like Pearl Jam, Will?
I like Verses and Vitology, not much else.
Okay.
I like
It's going to be a fun discography because I don't think, Tim, you don't like Pearl Jam, do you?
No, he hates them.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
That'll be a fun one.
Never been good. I like Green River.
Yeah.
I'm going to need a special guest backup on that one.
I think the real question on that one is going to be like, does Tim hate Pearl Jam or Smashing Pumpkins more? That's the real question.
I think I already know the answer to that.
Yeah, it's Smashing Pumpkins. I know. I get it.
At least Pearl Jam's got, Matt Cameron in there now. So.
Well, to be fair, Matt Cameron played on Adore, so he's in the
okay. Well, then it's back up to a toss-up.
Obviously, Willie and the Poor Boys is my number one pick. Down on the Corner, excellent opener, just kills it. It came out of the sky. I don't really like the song, but anything that's somewhat tangentially related to UAP or UFOs, I'm all about it. I didn't know Cotton Fields was a cover, but that makes all the sense in the world. In fact, I listened to the original version where it's not listened to just Cotton Fields. It's Cotton Fields, parenthesis, the Cotton song in parenthesis. Like, you didn't have to put the parenthesis there, guys. Cotton Fields is pretty much a good title. Four Boy Shuffle, wasted my time. But Feeling Blue, Fortunate Son, Don't Look Now, which, by the way, I feel like Don't Look Now is a sequel to Fortunate Son because it says It Ain't You or Me in the parenthesis of the title, which is something he says quite prominently on Fortunate Son. Midnight Specials, great. Side of the Road, I don't remember anything about Side of the Road. I remember Effigy being a really rad closer, even if it did kind of drag on a little bit. But yeah, I just think Fortunate Son and Down on the Corner are like CCCR. They're classics. Creedence Clearwater.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's a toss up for a lot of these. Like the top three, I could have just flipped a coin and put them either or, honestly.
My number 1 and 2 could have swapped.
Yeah.
3, yeah. Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah.
So my number 1 and 2 swapped, and then my 6 and 7 swapped multiple times.
Got you.
Oh, my 7th was always my 7th.
Yeah, my 7th. But yeah, 6 and 5 for me for sure.
Yeah.
Or 6.
All right, well, I guess we got the same number 1, huh?
Yeah, guys.
No, we do.
And I get it. It's a good album. It's got a lot of the hits on there. It's
you put it at number 3. It's not like you.
Yeah,
I mean,
base.
Yeah, me, Will, and Hillary all had the same top 3, and Tim. He
Just
put Willie
gotta
down.
be the OG.
Tim likes the first album. Sorry.
Yeah, he swapped Willie for the first album. That's basically where we're at. So yeah, I like this Cosmos Factory. I think was the most consistently good album, except for Ooby Dooby. That was dumb. Does not hold up. Looking Out My Back Door is a classic. Before You Accuse Me, great Bo Diddley blues cover. Traveling Band is Loud and Fast for CCR. It's good. My Baby Left Me could just not exist on this album, and that would be okay. Who Will Stop the Rain is fantastic, and I love the song. I heard it through the grapevine. CCR doesn't touch the original, but I still dig it. California Raisins Forever. The closing track is slow, but still a good jam. Long as I Can See the Light. Again, stick with the originals. So much better than the covers. Because the covers on this one weren't too great, besides the Bo Diddley one. But
My dog agrees, apparently.
like, I would not say any of these albums is like a full 10,
No.
except for this one.
No.
That's it.
Maybe.
I mean, I'd give Mardi Gras a 10 out of 10 for being terrible. But yeah, not as far as positives, no.
What you got for Cosmos Factory, Hillary?
Man, as long as I can see the light in the cover.
No, that's not.
Okay. Well, my notes for that one is I'm
Don't think
lost, and then I scratched it out, and then this song is epic. But again, this is the album that I was real fucked up when I was listening to. Selected as number one. A lot of the same stuff you said though, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it has some of the best singles, you know?
Yeah, like, looking out my back door, like there it is, CCR goodness. Move
Yeah.
forward. Like I skipped right through that because I was like, damn, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, looking out my back door right into Running Through the Jungle is just like a 1-2 punch of fuck yeah, you know?
Nice harmonic and Run Through the Jungle.
I will say, looking at the top
I will
songs,
that Elvis cover song though, and it's the only reason that's album now.
none of my
But the
top
rain song,
songs.
I really like the rain song. Ooh, stop the rain.
Yep.
The Elvis cover is My Baby Left Me.
Yeah.
None of my top songs come from this album. I just noticed.
Right?
I don't know.
Because are they the best singles? I don't know.
I don't know. But consistently
But I got
wise, the album to me was, the lows weren't as low. The highs might not have been as high, but the lows weren't as low.
Well,
Like the first half of it up until Traveling Band, I felt like I was like I could have been listening to a George Thorogood album.
ooh, yeah.
well, to be fair, that's not a that yeah, that all makes all the sense in the world, honestly.
Yeah, but he came out
Yeah.
after, right? Thorgood was after.
Oh yeah, way after.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's all still just Chicago blues rock, you know.
Yeah, it's still
with some
like
fancy
blues rock
guitar work.
thing.
Yeah, but this is like 1970 blues
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah.
Ooh, I heard it through the grapevine. My notes are the best version of this song I've ever heard. So, what are the other ones you got?
I mean, the Marvin Gaye version's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh yeah, I'd go with the Marvin Gaye
California
version.
Raisins version.
I remember the raisins.
Yeah, the California Raisins version is really good. You know, that's our sponsor this week. That might be the commercial.
I'll be honest, man. I wish I still had this tape. Like they did a Christmas special for the California Raisins or whatever. Growing up, I like taped it on a VHS tape, and I used to watch it all the time. I love that.
I was obsessed. I had all those little motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
California Raisin Council.
Let's see.
So dope.
CCR.
I bet
California.
they thought that up in Lodi.
Oh.
Like it just
No
doesn't.
final thoughts, anybody?
Huh?
Final thoughts? Anything else to add here?
I'm just gonna say keep on chugling, y'all.
Keep on chugling.
I mean, yeah, just end it there.
I won't say this is the best discography we've covered.
No.
It's still not the worst,
No.
but it's.
It gave me a new appreciation for him, actually, because yeah, I had heard like all the hits and stuff and the radios and whatnot, but actually, I don't think I'd ever actually listened to an actual album in its entirety before this, and I was pleasantly surprised that like they're a pretty good rock and roll band, and if you're like new to rock and roll or new to an instrument, you can learn a lot from listening to these albums. Like guitar, drums, bass, it's all pretty basic. It's all pretty good, and it's a good foundation if you want to get into it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
If you can play one of these songs, you can play all of their songs.
Yeah, and if you can play one of these songs, you can play a million songs.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true.
Yeah,
I can only play one.
We can probably play more.
he can only he can play like the hardest one, and that's it.
Yeah, you just-
Just Bad Moon Rising,
Yeah.
I can play that one too.
which I didn't know was a cover or was not a cover. I didn't know that before listening to all this.
Which
I mean,
one? Bad Moon
wrote
Rising?
that song. Yeah,
Yeah, that's theirs.
everybody.
We lost him.
Yep.
Oh, you just lost one ear.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, Lagwagon does a really good cover of it.
Okay.
well, I just want to know who's going to stop the rain. That's coming to your town Sunday.
Sunday.
Nestle's makes the very best. Nestles.
So that has been our rankings for CCR.
That's
I
who's
love
going to stop the rain.
If you agreed, leave us a comment below. If you did not agree, leave us a comment down below. And
Either way, leave a comment below.
yeah, you just get you guys are old, drunk, and stupid. Or if you're from, this generation, you say you young punks don't know what you're talking about. Either way, it works out.
And let us know which one was the plush of 1970. Because I know one of these singles was the plush of this generation.
Oh, who will stop the rain was
And if you're watching this and don't know what plush
the
is,
song is looking out my back door.
yeah,
who will stop the rain was definitely the Interstate Love song.
Yeah,
okay,
I would
see,
say
there you go.
that fits. I will approve that reference.
Was Fortunate Son maybe the plush?
Or Born on a Bayou.
Fortunate Son would have been Creep. Not Radiohead Creep. The song Creep.
Yeah.
Half the man I used to be.
a feeling I don't be now.
Well, so Will, do you want to explain why we're comparing CCR to Stone Temple Pilots?
I think that was a Tim thing, not a Will thing. I think Stone Temple Pilots are a perfectly good band with a bunch of songs that sound different from one another.
In the Facebook group, who said they were the STP?
It was me. It's me. I've been thinking about this
Will.
one for a while. Because I remember the 90s and I remember when Plush came out, Stone Temple Pilots in general, and everybody got really excited about it. And then we listened to it and it was like, okay, it's there. And then literally 6 months later, everybody was done with it. But they just kept playing it Plush over and over again. And literally for the last 30 years, I have heard that song about 1 million times more than I wanted to. And I've always wondered, because that seeing the kids today go back and think about the 90s and they're like, yeah, Stone Temple Pilots, man, grunge rock gods. And nobody ever thought that ever. And so I wonder, since CCR has been shoved down our throats through movies and commercials and soundtracks for all of our lives, is it the same deal? Did nobody actually listen to them at the time, but they just got lucky with a couple radio hits?
Well, I will say this, an argument against that. I think Purple and Tiny Music are both very, very good rock records. And
As is Bayou Country, Green River, Willie and the Po' Boys, and Cosmos Factory.
No, because these sound separate from one another, but also separate from the genre they're trying to ape. Whereas Core, which is the record you're talking about, that it is terrible. It's a terrible record. Their debut.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about that whole band. Like they're like Purple's listenable, but that's about it.
Tiny Music.
No, I hated Tiny Music for years. Again, if we would have done Stone Temple Pilots like a year ago, Tiny Music would be pretty low for me. But it's kind of like that In With the Outcrowd album. I've listened to it more and more, and holy shit, that record is really fucking good,
Yeah, like
especially for that time frame. Like,
like
I was,
I don't have like a dog in the fight, other than I like those two records. Um,
And that's fine. You can
when we
like
get to
them.
the Pumpkins
But
talk, I'll get my feelings hurt for sure.
and
no, you can,
Core's not that bad of an album, minus like Plush and Creep.
Well, see, here's the thing. We talk about how good Alice in Chains is, but they were very much a different band before the grunge thing happened. Stone Temple Pilots were very much a band that were nobody until the grunge thing happened, and they grew and changed after that album. Alice in Chains grew and changed because of the grunge thing, and they got better because of it, whereas Stone Temple Pilots are the opposite version of that. Like, there's two polarities, and they're going this way, they're crisscrossing.
Yeah, because Stone Temple Pilots went more like funk, psychedelic, to like what's that genre? It's like Tiny Music's not a grunge record at
No,
all.
no. It's almost an
well,
indie.
none of them are. They're not a grunge
Well,
band.
not
Well,
grunge
I would argue
sounding.
that grunge isn't an actual sound, more as a fashion and
Well,
brand.
I think we're losing ourselves in the weeds here. Like, it doesn't matter if they're a grunge band or not. People called them that.
Oh,
No.
yeah, they still do. They still do.
Exactly.
You see, because I'm in all these '90s Facebook groups, and it's usually generations before us or after us, and they're all like immortalizing, and you see all these like portraits of like
And so I
Kurt
wonder
and
if
Lane
people
and
did
Chris
the same
and-
thing to this.
For
That's all
CCR.
I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I compare it to Stone Temple Pilots because, you know, to somebody who maybe wasn't in the 90s, they might make like a best
can
of the
see that.
decade list. But
Yeah,
anybody who was
right.
there in the 90s, they
Yeah.
would not make a best of the decade list.
No, you're not going to put
yeah,
sex thing on any top of the 90s list ever.
Right.
It's,
Right. They
it's a lot
were
of
just
fun.
kind of there.
and if you
I
think
don't
of
listen to them anymore.
if you think of the '70s or the '60s, you don't really think of I mean, you do, but not really. You
Just
jump to
folk,
other bands first.
Well, sure. And there's much better bands to jump to. But much like the 90s, there was a whole bunch of stuff out there, and some of it got played on the radio, even though it wasn't as good as some of the stuff that didn't. And since this has been crammed down my throat through the radio for, my entire life, I just wonder.
I'd say my
argument
is that a lot of bands have been influenced by Creedence in a way,
Sure.
even though they're very much influenced by their influences that they cover on every fucking record. And I would say Stone Temple Pilots are originals because a lot of bands copied Stone Temple Pilots and not the bands that Stone Temple Pilots were trying to copy themselves.
Well, but if you're copying a copy,
you're still copying.
It's not quite the same as the original.
It's not quite the same. It's like, you remember that Michael Keaton movie, Multiplicity, where he just kept cloning himself and they get dumber and dumber every time.
Yeah.
Funny movie. Really funny movie.
Great.
I'm saying we can't blame Pilots for 7 Mary 3, can we? I mean, that's not fair.
No, you blame Pearl Jam for that.
Okay, well, we can all agree to blame Pearl Jam then. I like that.
You can blame Pearl Jam for Creed and that whole genre of
I feel like Creed is definitely more Scott Weiland than what's his face?
In his personal life, yeah, he's pretty fucking.
But really, again, we're nitpicking. They're all the same anyway. Like, throw them all in a blender and pick out a song and tell me which one it is. They're all the same.
Back to CCR, though, I will say, Tim, I told my mom that we were going to do CCR, and she's like, really? And she was there for the time. And I was like, we were going to do Bob Seger, but Hillary, I was talking to him on the phone one night, and he was drunk, and he said, I should do CCR. And I said, I'd only do CCR if Hillary comes back. Or if you come back.
Don't blame this on me.
Yeah, this is all you. We could have been listening to Night Moves, but instead we're listening to.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we'd also have to listen to some records off the shelf and.
Yeah, getting that old time rock and roll. But anyway, so my mom was like, CCR, they were okay, I guess. I mean, I remember a couple of their songs, but like she was kind of like, they just like. They were
like, are they the Blind Melon of 1969?
No, they had more than one hit.
Well, true. That's true.
See, Blind Melon had 3 hits, but they weren't big hits either. So
What else did they have besides No Rain? I remember they had the first single off the album that came out after that album was really good, but it
yeah, I
didn't do
can't.
anything.
I honestly can't remember because I had it on tape and I lost the artwork for it, so I just know it by like where it was positioned on the tape. So let me find out. But they did have a song from their second record called Galaxy that was a pretty big hit on alternative radio and on.
That's the one I'm talking about. I think wasn't
Yeah.
Galaxy?
It was a
Yeah.
song.
That was way better than No Rain.
They had Change and Tones of Home were both from the
Tones of Home. Yeah, okay.
yeah, that was on the first record that was really
so maybe CCR is the Blind Melon of the 60s.
yeah, no, I think in vibe and music, yeah, I think that fits 300%.
No, you can't. Blind Melon had 3 hits. CCR had a double album of greatest hits.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, if Homeboy wasn't absolutely fucking insane and died early, they might have had more records and made more hits. We can't.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
CCR might have too if the brother wouldn't have left and all that shit happened.
No, that's fair too.
Right.
They had 20
And if
greatest hits.
Scott
in the
Weiland hadn't
span-
joined Velvet Revolver.
68, 70, 71. In the span of 4 years, they had 20 hits.
Yeah.
So
And of course, I'm talking about the Chester Bennington Stone Temple Pilots.
no, that's not. No. Ed wants to cover them.
That is honestly one of the saddest self-fulfilling prophecies ever. Was that he joined that band and then shortly died? Like that was just sad. Sad.
Yeah.
I've got a bad joke that I can't talk about on the air.
You told us last time we cut off. It was a good one. Yeah. I don't think that was before Will though. So what?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think Will or Hillary have heard it.
Yeah.
No.
So.
Nope.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up
now.
And if you hit us up in the Discord, I might let you know what it is.
Yeah, sign up, join the Discord. It's free, and you can say @Tim. What the hell was that joke? Because we talk to our people.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you guys.
And we'd talk to more of them if they'd come join and chat with us.
Yeah, leave a comment below if you wanna come on the show and talk about a band.
Yeah.
If they don't suck, we'll do it.
Let's put it this way, guys. Sage Francis has left more comments than you have, so let's get with it, man. Like Sage, bro. Come on.
Sage was a great guy, right?
Yeah.
Remember when we did that interview and it came out like a month ago?
I know, that was awesome.
Fun.
It's really weird how he tore us to pieces and laughed about it. But it is what it is.
To be expected.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see him again soon.
As always, be safe, make good decisions.
Or don't.